Hey guys, and welcome back to the Windsor Time channel. Today we are talking all things travel watches, from fairly not low budget, but reasonable budget to break the bank, just have fun with it. We are going to be covering everything. But before we get into that, Ben, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm
Nice.
good. How are you doing?
Very good. I think a reason for this episode is we've both been doing quite a lot of traveling this year.
Yep.
You just got back from France from a very beautiful family wedding.
Yeah.
Congrats to your brother.
Thank you.
He doesn't watch this probably, but if he does, this would be a nice Easter egg.
Shout out to Jake.
And you were traveling, and you had the watch on your wrist that you went through Paris with. I was going to go to London. Things fell apart. We went to DC. But it really got me thinking of when you're abroad, what watches can you wear?
Yeah.
I mean, even, domestically, if you're going somewhere maybe you aren't super comfortable or familiar with, what are just some really great sort of, for at least these categories, more under the radar watches that are a lot of fun to wear, and they're still meaningful, right?
Yeah.
You want to have something interesting. So
Yeah, especially as watch guys or watch girls, you want to have something you can travel with that you still feel like you're having a fun time at a dinner. You're still representing the watch world the way you want to represent the watch world, but also in today's world, you're thinking about safety, you're thinking about people being more aware of watches than ever. So you want to wear something that has a nice balance of, hey, I can go jump in the ocean in this, I can wear this to a nice dinner abroad, but also I can wander around and not feel like I'm flashing a crazy watch.
do I have it wrong? Was it the U.S. Open where someone in the grounds of the U.S. Open was wearing a Patek, I think it was an Aquanaut Travel Time, and they had it cut off of their wrist? Did you see that?
I heard something about that, but I'm not
Okay.
100% sure.
We'll
where
put that up on the
was,
screen
but
for what that is.
pretty
But
wild.
yeah, it's crazy, which is
Yeah,
unfortunate.
it's a wild world. I mean, as watch awareness has grown and grown, which has been wonderful for this hobby and this industry, so has, all the, wrong reasons for people out there looking for watches. So
Unfortunately.
pretty interesting. But
Yeah.
so what are you wearing?
So we'll kick it off. So this is actually one that I'm test driving from our shop. Rather, it is in inventory now, but this is a Tudor Black Bay Pro. Just a really interesting watch. We were talking about before it got kicked off. I'm kind of looking for that next travel GMT. I'm lucky enough to own a Pepsi, and that's a great daily wear. But like I
That's
said, I
one
don't
you
want
may
to do
not
that.
want to wear if
Exactly.
you're in London, if you're in
Yeah.
Venice or something.
Yeah,
like
you've got a
that.
flashy
So-
Jubilee bracelet. You've got the blue and red, which everybody kind of knows now. So what is nice about this is I have a real affinity, for the Rolex Explorer 2.
Yep.
That's not why I like this watch. I like the sort of design cues it takes from it, I think, in a very tasteful way. It's
Yeah.
not trying to be that thing, but it is serving a very, very similar function. The kind of fauxtina that they have
It
on
definitely
the indices.
leans into the vintage 1655 a
It
little
does.
bit. It's
Yeah.
about the same size as the vintage 1655 versus the current Explorer 2.
Right.
However, it's very much its own animal. I mean, there's no question about
It
that.
is. And, when this came out, the thickness, I don't remember the exact, I think it's like
It's a little
14,
tall.
15, whatever
Yeah.
it is. It's a little tall, but on the wrist, it looks great.
Yeah,
And that's the
it looks
thing with,
wonderful.
a lot of watches, you just have to get them on the wrist and see how they feel.
The GMT hand is kind of the second time zone hand. It's kind of a unique color. It's yellow,
Yeah.
but it's not like bright yellow. It's almost an orangey yellow, which is
It is.
pretty unique, actually.
Yeah, but beautiful matte dial and just a really, really fun thing. When I had my Tudor Black Bay 58, I could never get that bracelet perfect. You had a
Right.
couple micro adjusts,
Yep.
but it was never enough.
This has the T
The
class.
T-fit clasp is very similar to the Rolex Glide Lock clasp. You can see it just comes out, I would say probably a full length,
Yeah.
or a link rather,
Centimeter
maybe a little
or
bit more.
yeah.
And it looks great, and it's just such a fun watch.
Super cool watch.
So that's one that is in inventory right now. If that one's sold by the time this goes up, there always seems to be one coming in and around.
Beautiful
so I'm
watch.
sure we can find one for you. But really great watch. Going off of this one,
Yeah.
talking really fast today. A little bit earlier in the day, a little bit more energy. You have the big brother, I would say, to this. What do you have on?
Also a Tudor. Strange enough, I don't think we each knew we were wearing Tudor
did not.
GMTs here, but
No.
classic Black Bay 41 GMT, but with the white or kind of silver opaline dial, with the dark blue and red bezel. And this did just go with me to France. Actually, almost 4th of July / French flag colors, which is pretty funny in the first place, but really was an awesome travel companion. I'm glad we're doing this episode because this thing went to dinners with me. It also went in the ocean with me. It did a little bit of everything, and it is kind of that perfect one watch for traveling. Plus, it has a second time zone, can keep track of back home time and local time, and just jump the hour very easily. So it's fun.
Absolutely.
You know,
Nice.
gets it done.
There you go. Very
Representing Tudor today.
cool. We are. Yeah, we did not plan that before. So let's jump in. We have pulled 3 watches from inventory to talk about. First one we have is from IWC. What are we looking at?
So this is the Mark 18, so classic pilot watch by IWC. IWC's on to the Mark 20 now, which has a slightly different movement with a little bit longer power reserve. But I think the Mark 18, which had a pretty long run, by the way, as a watch, really just does everything. And it definitely, while it's not a GMT, it definitely falls into this category we're talking about, where this thing can be a dress watch at a nice dinner. This thing can jump in the ocean if you need to. You could put this on in the morning, get on a plane, fly pretty much anywhere in the world, get off and do something, basically anything in this watch that the life throws at you, which is pretty cool. This is the Le Petit Prince, the Little Prince dial edition, so the blue dial edition. You can see the Little Prince on the back. So not a limited edition, but kind of their special blue dial edition.
Yeah, this is great on the bracelet. You know, this is one as well. Looks phenomenal on a leather strap. Looks great on a NATO or a canvas or a textile. Really just sort of a do anything strap monster of a watch. You've got a date, which is quite nice, especially when you're traveling and you're kind of just out of it.
Super easy to read.
Yeah,
big
very
hour,
legible.
Big minute hand, big numerals. I mean, obviously very much a pilot watch. Everything influenced by the history of aviation, and that just makes it a great travel watch in the first place, whether you're flying or not. Or
it does.
Piloting or not, I should say.
Piloting, yeah. I'm not flying so much, but
yeah, there you go.
And it's cool. They did that little, it's like little circle things that you can push on to easy links, which is quite nice. But yeah, just a great watch. And like you said, very under the radar. But if I saw this on someone's wrist, you know, in the lounge or getting on the plane, I would instantly know that they're more than likely a watch person.
Hyper respectable watch, but not something you're going to put yourself at risk, generally speaking, by wearing around, which is, I think, a benefit as well.
Totally. Awesome. So this is the IWC Mark 18. Up next, we have something from Japan, one of the darlings of the watch industry right now. We have the Grand Seiko SBG A415. So this is the winter or the gray dial. I used to own the spring, the 413, kind of that flush pink. But this really, really cool, almost like a storm cloud kind of dial with that beautiful blued second hand power reserve indicator, which you get on all of the 413s, 5s, and there's one more reference. Is there one more reference?
In the original 4 seasons, I think it was just the 2, but there are others, obviously, with that.
Well, there's a lot of seasons with Grand Seiko.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, just a great watch. Titanium, super light.
That's my favorite thing about it. Not only color palettes under the radar, stylistically, Grand Seiko is already kind of, I don't want to say sleepery, but it doesn't scream flashy. It doesn't have anything fluted, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But what's also nice about this for a travel watch is it is so lightweight. So you're running around, you're lugging your luggage, you're getting to the hotel, whatever you're doing. You're not really thinking about that watch. It's so lightweight, nice travel companion. Once again, not a GMT, but doesn't really need to be. It just is going to do everything you need locally, has the date. I mean, it's just killer.
What I've found from traveling, especially more this year, is if you switch that with your Tudor, it feels so much lighter. It feels like a feather. What I've found, with traveling and going through time zones is it's really not that hard to unscrew the crown and go a couple of hours, 5, 6, 7, 8 at most. So I think the GMT is a wonderful thing to have if you're working abroad and you kind of need to know your home time zone, what's going on. But in so many cases, if you're on vacation and you're really just trying to clock out, I think all 3 of these that we're looking at, 4 if you want to include that one, are just wonderful. So yeah, that's such a great watch.
Another one, I mean, we're probably going to say this about all 3 of these watches, but easily you can go out on an elegant evening in this if you're going to an opera house in Italy, or you can jump in the ocean. It's got a screw down crown, water resistant enough for sure for almost anything you could do sort of as an a la carte trip.
The one thing I have with Grand Seiko, the bracelets, this fits great, looks good, no taper at all. So when I had mine, I had it on a really beautiful just taupe strap, and what's nice is with the drilled lugs, easily, pop a tool in there, put it on a nice leather band if you're going out to dinner. as us watch nerds like to do. Really dress it up for the occasion.
Absolutely.
So you can kind of have 2 watches in one with that, and it'll just look really, really great.
For sure.
So yeah, that is the Grand Seiko. Moving very far beyond the Grand Seiko and IWC, this is one, again, when you're talking about travel watches, it's not a Rolex, so you're not going to necessarily have everybody know what it is, but it is, for better or worse, I guess, a brand that a lot more people seem to know now. Patek Philippe. It is an incredible watch.
Yeah, so this is the Patek Philippe 5212, so 5212A in stainless steel, which is their awesome Calatrava weekly calendar, which is a really unique complication to Patek. Once again, not a travel time of any sort, but with the weekly calendar, it kind of, and in fact, kind of like a European style weekly calendar, something we don't think about so much in the US. It really kind of feels like a travel watch. And on top of that, it's stainless steel, so it's durable. It is quintessentially, for what it is, pretty under the radar. The color palette, the way it's on, at least the way it comes stock on this tanned leather strap, is not something that just screams luxury. It does in its own way, but it also is kind of understated, casual elegance, which when you're traveling, that's kind of all you need. It kind of does everything.
Yeah, my wonderful partner and fiance would say, it just looks like all the other watches. We were looking at
but if you look closer
a
at the
Longa
dial,
Sona, a Longa one, and she said, it's round. And she has a huge appreciation for watches and loves them. But when it comes to this, most people will see it and go, oh, it just looks like another watch.
Across the room, you've got kind of a cream dial on a light brown strap, but when you get closer to it, it's got really unique stepped lugs.
It does.
It's got this originally handwritten, then printed dial.
Yeah.
So unique to the watch. It has the weekly calendar, little hammer palette there to show the day, and then the week of the year. Super unique, but it's a watch you have to get up and close and personal with to sort of understand. So that makes it a great travel watch, because until you're talking to someone one-on-one, they're really not going to pay too much attention to it.
I mean, just, wow. Yeah, such a beautiful watch. And I think, if you wanted to throw it on a textile strap of some sort, you could.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily, but you could. Wouldn't necessarily go swimming with it either, but...
Of the group we have, being on a leather strap, it's probably the one you're not going to jump in the ocean with.
But if you threw it on a NATO and very gently lowered yourself into a very clean pool, I think you'd be okay.
Absolutely.
But yeah, really, really beautiful piece.
I wish I was traveling with that. It's a beautiful watch.
I may travel out of it. No, I'm just kidding.
There you go. Let's do it.
Anyway, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If there are topics you would like us to cover in the future, be sure to drop a comment below. And until next time, thank you guys for watching so much. We'll see you then.